All right, welcome back, and this is Tom, and I'm working here with Optio, which is my new dashboard that I have created in order to allow school owners to connect their Teachable API with an easy-to-use dashboard where they can look up students and financial data and pretty much whatever we can get from the API, from the Teachable API, right in their own dashboard here. The idea behind it initially was a virtual assistant would need to be able to look up a student without being able to see all of the financial details or even any other student, and literally only see the student that they're given the email address for. So this is actually an admin view, and I'm looking at a demo academy which is just pulling in randomized information, so it's not live data. But initially the VA would, for example, only be able to see from the student drop down the search feature. There's other features here that we're adding depending on what access you want to give your VAs, or if you're the school admin, you'll have access to everything based on whatever plan you're paying for. But let's say we start out the directory, you would get a list of all the students being pulled in. Again, this is coming from the API, but in this particular instance, it's coming from mock data that we've created, and it shows this the student and their email address and how many courses they're enrolled in, and essentially whatever we can get from the Teachable API, we can sort of bring it in here and show it on the dashboard. And we can click on each individual user and it'll do a lookup for that particular user. Again, we're using mock data, so it doesn't always find stuff the first time around. Let's try it again. So if this was live data, it wouldn't have given us that warning there. It's because it's using the mock data that's getting the problem, right? So we're actually looking for Bradley Hudson, although it's bringing up Brian. Again, this is mock data that we're looking for. It's not live data. I didn't want to show live student data within this video here. But you can see that we've got the student profile, we've got internal notes over here, we've got the courses that they were enrolled in, the progress, and the purchases that they've made. Again, mock data, it's not true, it's not real, but it shows exactly what you can do. And we've over here, we've got a progress capture card that you can screenshot, and you can paste this into an email and send it off to them if you needed to. Over here, you can actually leave live notes for yourself or for other VAs or admins that might log in, and you can delete or edit the note if you needed to do so. So if I was to refresh this, if I refresh this, it probably won't work because it's going to be trying to fetch the mock data, which is not being saved properly. And but on a live student, this would actually work properly. So some of the other stuff that we do have available is course insights. Again, this is pulling in mock data, but we can kind of look at this and see, okay, this particular student or this particular course has a 42% completion rate. Why is that? Why are people getting stuck at 42%? And why are 34% of people just not even starting the course? And we've only got 16% here as the example of who've actually finished the course. So this is an indication perhaps that this particular course has a problem around the halfway mark. Maybe the course changed from being videos to PDF or to text, or even changed from being plain text to videos, and people just didn't like that transition. So you can kind of look in and dig into the courses and see what it is that might be causing these struggles that they're having here. Retention risk is more of a student side of things, where we have an enrolled student that maybe have enrolled, in this case 345 or 343 days ago, but they've not done anything. So the idea here is that we're going to have a button here that will be a nudge button, that'll be an editable email that you can then automatically send out to the students without having to log back into Teachable, without having to go into your CRM. And it'll just send them a little ping saying, hey, I haven't seen you in a while, is there anything we can help you with? Reach out. Basically, whatever you want to say in that email, you can edit that, but that's a coming soon feature. And we've got all the students here that's been pulled in from our mock data. Finances, we've got the overview for the finances. The way that this works is we have to actually pull all of the API information from your Teachable school, which is why it's not actually here. And because we're mocking the data, there's nothing for it to fetch, which is why it's not showing anything. Future video, we'll dig into that, and maybe I can pull in some raw data and sort of edit it a little bit so you can actually see the specific finances for that particular school. And the same thing for the VIPs. I think it does the same thing because it needs to pull in the data from the VIPs. And this data sync is that part here. And then we've got a way for us to manage the VAs who are actually enrolled in your school and what access they have. And this is set based on all of your VAs. So if you've got 5 seats and you've got 4 VAs plus yourself, all 4 of those VAs will have the same policy for access. I'm going to work on that a little bit because I'm actually planning on adding tutors. So you'll have VAs and tutors, and both of those will have different access policies. And maybe we'll get even more granular that you can specify a VA that might have the student directory, but a different VA might not have a student directory. So I'm probably going to get into that in the next sprint that we're doing on in Optio. But for now, it's kind of standardized for all of your VAs that have the same access. And the school config is essentially where you would put in your API key that you get from Teachable, and that's part of the onboarding process that you would go through when you sign up to Optio. Billing, again, you need to pick a plan, and mapping is essentially a way for you to sort of overwrite that you put the ID of the product here, if I remember correctly, it's the product. And it maps it to a friendly name. So it might come in as bundle 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you can say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here, and you can actually give it a specific name. So when you're coming back over to the student view here, the information, there we go. So down at the bottom here where it says product undefined, we can actually map that undefined number to whatever easy to understand, bundle XYZ, whatever it is. And it just gives us a nice easy way to see what this is here. And that's over under the mapping area here. And we've also got light mode if you prefer to look at things in the light mode. So there we have it. There are some roadmaps over here as to what we're planning on for the next couple of quarters. Right now I'm working on tutor access, and I'm migrating the people who were on the prototype over to this live view, and then we're going to be working on maybe some webhooks and some advanced reporting stuff in the future. Okay, so thanks for watching. Take care. Bye bye.